Around the NBA on this Thursday night, Joel Embiid, he is still listed as a game-time decision. Training table right now courtside being worked on, lower back tightness. He did participate in shoot-around, but unknown if he'll be able to play tonight against the Indiana Pacers. Let's bring in Jay Michael, who covers the Pacers for the Indy Star, friend of the program. Jay, Pacers come in, winners of 9 of their last 11, and Victor Oladipo talking about nobody respects us. Pulling an old Rodney Dangerfield, huh? What type of motive? Where is this coming from?
Well, I mean, they still don't, they kind of get mentioned as an afterthought. But again, you kind of expect that from a team that's in Indiana. He's actually even acknowledged that too. He said a lot of people don't see us as a big market. I get that. But, it's they continue to win. And even more so, I think they continue to win, even like a game against Phoenix the other night. They score 131 points, and Oladipo only had 8. So it's not just Oladipo and the new star power that he has brought with him. They're obviously getting it done in ways that doesn't require Oladipo to have breakout games every time. So and I think he wants to see some of his teammates, guys like Miles Turner and Thaddeus Young, get a little bit more shine.
Well, Victor has taken a little bit of a reduced role this year in the offense, but I think most would agree that's because others have been able to step up and complement him. How do you think that, plus the 11 games he's missed due to injury, will impact his ability to be selected as an All-Star?
I think the 11 games have a lot to do with it. Actually, in the most recent game against Phoenix, there was a break in the action. He was on the opposite court, other half of the court. Somebody was shooting a technical free throw. And you could see him going through some stretches in some quick sprints, testing out his knee. Now, after the game, he said he didn't have a problem with it. Asked Coach Nate McMillan, he said he didn't have any indications that Victor was having any more issues with soreness in that knee. But what the eye test said, not only by him doing that, but his jump shot looked incredibly flat in that game. He went 2 for 11, had a lot of good looks. It just never looked good, and I think it was more about his legs than it was anything else. So I think that's going to impact him heavily. But, this is going to be a test of how much stardom you really do have, because if you are truly a star, you can have a little bit of a down season. Think about some of the times that Carmelo Anthony made it, and He still made it. Why? Because he was just so popular among not only fans but coaches. You have that respect, and they give you the benefit of the doubt in these situations.
Hey, we only have 30 seconds here. Want to get your take on the improved play of Miles Turner, team 13-1 when he scores 15 or more.
Fantastic. They give up 118 points a game without him defensively. They hold teams to close to 100 with him. So it's not just offense. He's spacing the floor on offense. He's been great like that. But defensively, he's a game changer. He's a rim protector, and he helps cover a lot of busted coverages and makes other guys look good.
Jay Michael from the Indy Star covering the Indiana Pacers tonight, who we'll see on TNT coming up at 7 Eastern against the 76ers. Jay, thanks for your time. Coming up next, the starters. Are the Warriors the most hated team in sports? And was Kyrie sending a coded message in his apology to LeBron? That's coming up in a couple of moments.
I had to call Bron, and tell him, I apologize for being that young player that wanted to everything at his fingertips, and I wanted everything to be at, my threshold. I wanted to be the guy that led us to championship. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be all that, and the responsibility of being the best player in the world and leading a team is something that's not meant for many people. And Brown was one of those guys that came to Cleveland and tried to really show us what it's like to win a championship, and it was hard for him.
Well, Kyrie has certainly done a lot of talking. Last night, before he talked again, he did some serious playing with his 27 points and career-high 18 assists to rally to beat the Raptors in a very big game for the Celtics, who snap a 3-game losing streak. Grant Hill, Jared Greenberg. Just the question here, though, with Kyrie is, why does he feel compelled to constantly bring up leadership as a topic for the public?
I don't know, but it does surprise me that he's doing that. And a couple things. One, I mean, he was upset about that Orlando Magic game and came out and apologized, which I think demonstrates good leadership. I also don't mind him calling LeBron James. I mean, LeBron James is the best player in the world. You play together, you had great history, and you can apologize and learn from him and pull from him. But to broadcast that, to talk about it like he did, I don't like how that looks, in the sense that if I'm a young guy on the team, are you talking about me? Now, in all fairness to Kyrie Irving, who's a really good person, a smart guy.
A Duke guy.
A Duke guy, the brotherhood. But you don't know what's going on in that locker room. You don't know if maybe he's had these discussions. Maybe he's told the guys, I talked to LeBron. Maybe he's told them I'm going to talk public. I mean, you don't know what's happened in that regard. But I just, as someone who's been in the locker room, as someone who's been a leader in the locker room, there's certain things that you just keep to yourself or you keep in the locker room. And so talking about all of that, I just don't like that sort of, subtle backhand, just a little jab that you take at some of the guys. And so, but he is as great a player as he is, and he's a closer in the finals.
Right.
He's learning how to become a leader, much like LeBron learned to become that leader that he is now.
Right, interesting. We got plenty more to do on Game Time Live, presented by Kia, 10 before tip style. Grant Hill, Jared Greenberg, Joel Embiid. We're monitoring his status as he plays on TNT. Plus, we've got a change to the starting lineup for the Toronto Raptors. Kyle Lowry will play. We'll get you up to speed next.
I think from my angle of watching the replay, I want to go watch. I haven't watched it again. But I was peeking over their shoulder. It kind of looked like it started just on its tick down. I thought Zoe made a heck of a play, but we had a breakdown in coverage. That was supposed to be a switch, and we didn't switch, and we paid for it.
Okay, here's a couple of updates tonight around the NBA. Still waiting on Joel Embiid's status. We've just learned Wilson Chandler, dealing with an illness, will be able to play. Kawhi out with rest. This has changed. Kyle Lowry will play tonight and start. Fred VanVleet gets the start alongside Lowry and Danny Green with Kawhi out. There is talk in Toronto tonight against the Suns that Patrick McCaw could make his Raptor debut. Meanwhile, LeBron James still out the next at least 2 games. We take you courtside and take a look at De'Aaron Fox here. Grant, I tell you, this has been a lot of fun having you on this 10 before tip edition of Game Time Live presented by Kia.
I tell you, this might be my favorite show on NBA TV. Jared, thanks for having me on. But De'Aaron Fox, what a talented young player. So much improvement from last year. Fun to watch. Be a great matchup against Kemba Walker.
It's been a lot of fun. I don't know if we're on camera or not. Ooh, I got the fist pump from you there. So the starters coming up here in a couple of moments, top of the hour. I'll be back with Kenny Smith for Game Time Live, leading into the TNT doubleheader coming up at 6:30 Eastern. Grant, thanks for joining us. Stay tuned. Here come the starters. Here's what's happening as it's happening right now around the NBA. Fans remain consistent. LeBron and Giannis still the leading vote getters, but we'll discuss if Luka can hold on to a starting spot, making the call. We'll ask Grant Hill about Kyrie's decision to not only call LeBron to apologize, but also to let the world know about the call. We're talking with the newsmakers and news reporters, opinion, perspective, and predictions. This is Game Time Live, presented by Kia, 10 before tip style. Thanks for being with us as we discuss the biggest stories of the day and set the table for the night in the NBA. I'm Jared Greenberg. Tonight on a special edition of 10 Before Tip, we will get you the Kia post game following the Wizards' win in dramatic fashion over the Knicks in London. More on that game to come in a moment. As always, 10 Before Tip number 1, it's what's happening right now. Well, Joel Embiid is listed as questionable for tonight's game on TNT against the Pacers. Embiid did participate in this morning's shoot-around despite dealing with lower back tightness. Tonight marks the start of a huge stretch for Philly. Each of their next 12 games are against opponents with a winning record. 8 games will be against top 5 teams in their respective conferences. Philly is 1-2 this season. When Embiid doesn't play, he is a game-time decision, and we'll keep you posted. Kawhi is out for what the team is calling rest/load management. So much fun to say, Grant. Love being able to call out players for load management. The Raptors are back at home tonight against the Suns on the second night of a back-to-back. Last night, Kawhi played 36 minutes in Toronto's loss in Boston. Kawhi has yet to play both ends of a back-to-back this season. We bring in the Hall of Famer Grant Hill on Game Time Live, presented by Kia, 10 before tip style. Welcome to your favorite program on the network, Grant.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, Grant, it's great.
Thank you.
You're the biggest star we've ever had, literally,
on
the show. Grant, so what is your take on Kawhi Leonard having yet to play a full back-to-back this season and how the Raptors are handling Kawhi?
You know, Jared, I don't mind that. I mean, obviously, I had a series of injuries during my career. Kawhi, we forget. Kawhi was out all of last year or most of last season. So, we see his greatness. We see the team playing well. But this is smart for them to manage it. The team has done a pretty decent job playing well, even when he's out, maintaining a sense of chemistry throughout the season. Big picture this year in Toronto. It's not about having the best record in the Eastern Conference. It's about getting to the finals and trying to win a championship. And they need they need a healthy, they need a guy, Kawhi Leonard, at his best. So I don't mind it one bit. And what's great? When he sat out, it hasn't affected his rhythm and his timing. When he's come back, he's ready to go. And so I think it's been good, and I don't have a problem with it. It would have been nice to get that win on the road against Boston and have him sit here tonight, but you can't win them all.
Lowry out as well tonight against the Phoenix Suns, a league pass game. 10 before tip number 2. See you in a moment here, Grant. It's what's buzzing today around the NBA. Let's talk about the All-Star returns. The third round are in. The fans, well, they are voting for 50% of the starters. The other 50% comes from the media and the players. This is the third returns. And once again, for the third straight week, Giannis leads the Eastern Conference and LeBron leads the Western Conference. So if this were to hold to form coming up on February 7th on TNT, these two would be the ones doing the first ever NBA All-Star draft. They would be the captains. Dwayne Wade staying firm at the second spot among guards in the Eastern Conference. Wade hasn't been an All-Star in a couple of years. Meanwhile, Derrick Rose, who's played only a couple of games in 2019, is still the second leading vote getter among guards in the Western Conference. And the most compelling story right now is the Western Conference forwards. Luka Doncic right now is in the second spot behind LeBron James. That's ahead of the likes of Kevin Durant, the head of the likes of Anthony Davis, Paul George. Luka Doncic has received the third most votes of any player in the NBA, trying to do what Grant Hill did, start in the NBA All-Star game. We'll talk about that in a moment. But another compelling race right now for the All-Star game is the second guard spot in the Eastern Conference. I think we all agree Kyrie Irving is very much deserving of an All-Star spot. It'd be hard to argue against that. But who is second most deserving? We certainly told you about Dwayne Wade, but what about Kemba Walker, who got off to that scorching hot start this season, but his team has tailed off. The game is in Charlotte this year. He'd be the sentimental pick. Ben Simmons, the triple-double machine. His Sixers are playing really good basketball, and he's putting out outstanding numbers. Now, Victor Oladipo is interesting. He's missed 11 games due to injury, and his team fared pretty well without him. Does he get penalized for all those games missed? Kyle Lowry, well, he's a guy who's not scoring a lot, but his assist numbers are through the roof, and Lowry appears to be maybe the most important player on the Raptors roster. So, Grant, who should get that second guard spot in the Eastern Conference next to Kyrie Irving?
Wow, that's a tough question because they're all deserving of that. You can make an argument. You talk about Victor Oladipo in Indiana right now in the third spot. He's missed 11 games, but you know what? LeBron James missed some games too. I think he'll, so, it's interesting to see what happens there. Obviously.
So wait, did you just say LeBron shouldn't be an All-Star?
No, I was just saying. Since LeBron's going to miss, so should and still be allowed a Victor Oladipo as well. Simmons is putting up gaudy numbers, but I like Kemba Walker. I'm sorry, the game's in Charlotte. He's been spectacular. Look at those numbers, 25 a game. His team is still in the 8th spot. I love Kyle Lowry, but I got to go with Kemba Walker on this.
And Luka, should he start?
You know what? I have no problem with that. I actually don't mind that. The fans have been pretty accurate. I love Antetokounmpo and LeBron as the captains. And Luka, he keeps putting up numbers and keeps shining like he has been. You know what? Not only is he an All-Star, I think he's a star.
Wow, he'd be the first rookie to start the All-Star game since Yao Ming in 2002. And prior to Yao, you did it.
My man.
That's right. Giving you some props. You want to do some more 10 before tip style?
I love it, man. This is high energy here, man. I got to keep up.
Woo! Game Time Live presented by Kia.
Check my heart rate.
Ben Simmons is going to play tonight. Will Joel Embiid play? We'll go live out to Indiana when we come back on the Game Time Live presented by Kia. 10 before tip style.
He came out, his knee was a little sore, and he was getting toward his minutes, so we thought it would be cautious to just not push him anymore. We thought we could finish the game off anyway, and it's just, I hope it's nothing more than just soreness, just general soreness.
Is it different than what checked it out last week?
Well, it's the knee, so it's all connected. So anyway, he had a good run, and that's what we wanted.
What did you see defensively, some of the breakdowns?
Well, to be honest with you, they hit 5 big threes that we were on them. They made some unbelievable shots. I thought when we got up 13, we got a little complacent, and they scored too quickly, too fast, and that was regrettable. But at that, we're up 7 with about 40 seconds, and there's 1, 2, 3. I think 3 threes they were hit. They were covered, and they hit them, and hey, tip your hat to them, and hey, let's go to the next one.
What were your thoughts on the last play, giving Gerald that last shot?
Yeah, he's the guy who can get a wide open shot like that, and he can hit them, and yeah, that's why we went there.
Did you see anything from, I guess, your Littles lineup for those 4 guys?
Well, the first time.
Well, Mike D'Antoni got to be scratching his head talking about Eric Gordon leaving the game with that same right knee injury that had cost him 8 games. Story of the night, James Harden goes off in the third quarter for 22, finishes the night with 58-point back-to-back 50-point efforts, but not enough tonight as the Nets get a spectacular effort from Jared Allen, taking advantage of not only the short-handed, but the short rockets. Jared Allen joins a very elite and very small club. Players in NBA history to score 20 points and grab 24 rebounds prior to turning 21 years old. Allen joins Andre Drummond, Dwight Howard, Shaquille O'Neal, and John Drew from back on Sekou's favorite Hawks team back in 74-75. Jared Allen tonight with an amazing game, 20 points, 24 rebounds, taking advantage of P.J. Tucker, who had to guard him a large portion of the night. Meanwhile, inside of our coach's film room tonight, giving us a unique perspective of the action is Derek Fisher. D-Fish, in addition to Jared Allen inside, Spencer Dinwiddie outside, 33 points, 10 rebounds, including some incredible clutch buckets in the fourth quarter and overtime.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie, even though James Harden, the man in Houston, that's who everybody wants to talk about. But as we roll the clips here, we'll see Spencer Dinwiddie's ability to make plays at multiple levels. Hill down 3, Austin Rivers trying not to foul, giving him some room, pulls up from 4 or 5 feet behind the three-point line, knocks it down. And here, really impressive execution. This is why the Nets are at 500. 40 seconds to go in overtime. Double stagger away. Joe Harris comes up. 2 guys go. Allen with the finish. Misses the free throw. Here with the offensive rebound. Spencer Dinwiddie back with the ball. We saw the first clip where he knocks down the 3. So now you have to stay close so he doesn't pull up on you. What does he do? Smart play. Gets downhill. A little bit of slide step around P.J. Tucker. Bump and the foul. Goes to the free throw line. Puts the Nets up 1. They secure the game. And so Spencer Dinwiddie, one of the great stories in the NBA, a player that has come back from injury, being traded, etc. Kenny Atkinson showing the confidence in him. And the Nets with a big, big road win down in Houston.
Fish, the Nets at 500 through 46 games for the first time since the 2012-2013 season. The Nets, they are coming. Derek Fisher in our film room. We're coming back with more live Crunch Time.